Philippines, #1 and only station.
DBS Radio.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, Minister for National Security and Home Affairs says Dominica is more prepared for the hurricane season. In news from the region, Trinidad and Tobago and the Dominican Republic to sign air services agreement. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump warns that Russia's president will seek revenge for Ukraine drone attack. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when we return.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued, like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
Welcome back. Minister for National Security and Home Affairs, Reuben Blackmore, says Dominica has made significant progress in building resilience following Hurricane Maria in 2017. Blackmore says the country is now better prepared for the hurricane season. He says the housing stock in Dominica has improved since Hurricane Maria.
We're better off today in terms of our readiness from a national standpoint to the days preceding Maria. What we have been able to do as a government and as a people is just absolutely remarkable. So it means, therefore, that every other house outside of the 70 that I'm making reference to here this morning were either destroyed or damaged. Today, because of our national policy and our leadership, not only that we have more houses now, more dwelling houses, but we have better houses now because of the policies of this Labour Party administration. And that, therefore, give us a less reliance on hurricane shelters, because the houses that we have been able to construct as a nation are hurricane-proof houses. Isn't that remarkable in terms of our preparation and rebuilding our country? And it speaks to building resilience. Resilience begins with your home. And then you have over 10,000 people who had no shelter, who now have modern first-class houses, and they will not wet again, my dear friends, because of the policies of this administration for you, the people of this country.
Minister for National Security and Home Affairs, Reuben Blackmore. President of the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, Jody Sango, has reiterated a call for the enactment of a Persons with Disabilities Act in Dominica. Her call came at the 41st Annual General Meeting of the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, which took place this morning. The meeting was held under the theme, Creating Employment for Persons with Disabilities, a National Imperative.
Progress cannot be achieved through program implementation alone. It requires enabling legislation and a comprehensive national policy framework that secures the rights of persons with disabilities. Therefore, today, I issue an earnest and unequivocal call to the government of Dominica to honor its commitments under the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and to enact into law a Persons with Disabilities Act. Such legislation must guarantee equal access to employment opportunities, prohibit discrimination on the basis of disability, mandate reasonable accommodation in the workplace, establish mechanisms of enforcement and redress, and the inclusion of persons with disabilities in all spheres of national life. We believe
Sango emphasizes the need for a transformative approach to inclusion for individuals with disabilities in Dominica.
We believe that now, more than ever, it is imperative that the nation adopts a transformative approach to inclusion, one that positions the economic empowerment of persons with disabilities as central to national development. Employment is a cornerstone of independence, dignity, and inclusion. It is a fundamental human right, and the denial of this right perpetuates cycles of poverty, dependence, and marginalization.
President of the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, Judy Sango. In other news this evening, the Dominica Hospitals Authority is set to launch a new initiative aimed at improving the Dominica China Friendship Hospital environment. This initiative engages local businesses, NGOs, and individuals to assume responsibility for a green space at the hospital to assist in the beautification of the grounds and help foster healing and recovery. Director of Engineering Services at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital is Nicole Laville.
This Thursday, June 5th, 2025, in celebration of World Environment Day, the Dominica Hospitals Authority will officially launch the Adopt a Planter program. Now, when most people think of hospitals, they imagine a cold, clinical space, bland, and sterile surroundings. But today's healthcare design is changing. And around the world, modern hospitals are incorporating natural landscapes, greenery, and soothing environments, not just for looks, but they actually help with the healing process. And studies even suggest that nature in healthcare spaces can positively influence patient outcomes and overall well-being. Here at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, we're embracing that idea with the Adopt a Planter program. 65 planters are already built in to the facility, and we now have the chance to bring a piece of the nature aisle into the hospital with our vibrant plants and flowers. Now that is where you come in, the public. Through the Adopt a Planter program, we're inviting local volunteer groups, businesses, and organizations to adopt and maintain a planter or a flower bed at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital.
Director of Engineering Services at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, Nicole Laville. The government of Dominica has approved the appointment of 9 youth sports officers. This was announced by Minister of State in the Ministry of Sports, Senator Oscar George, during a press conference this morning.
I want to express our delight for the group of young sports officers at the Division of Sports who were elevated to permanent establishment effective June 1st. If you recall, the Honorable Prime Minister met with a number of non-established employees last month, and one of the success stories from that engagement is that these officers, who were all very diligent officers, would transition from non-established positions into established or permanent positions. Obviously, now that they are in this new permanent position, they will qualify to receive the associated benefits as well as job security. So I'm happy for our youth sports officers who are now established and continue to groom the next generation of young athletes in the schools and in the various communities across Dominica. Nine sports officers positions have been created. In terms of their specific responsibilities, they're attached to different districts, I believe, and different schools, and support the sports officers there. So I believe they do a lot of stuff. They're not restricted to one task. Based on what I know, I stand corrected by the sports coordinator. But again, I'm happy for them. And of course, What I think we should do more in sports is to focus a lot more on community sports. Because yes, it's always good to shine nationally, regionally, internationally. But if you want to have athletes coming up to replace the current ones that are there, the only way you're going to achieve that is in the primary school. And that's why we invest so much money for the sports division in primary school.
Minister of State in the Ministry of Sports, Senator Oscar George. Dominica is pushing to reduce the importation of pork and poultry by 30% in the next 5 years. Minister for Agriculture Roland Roye says the investments in livestock agriculture have propelled the sector.
In livestock infrastructure, I think what we're doing in Dominica is unprecedented. There's no island in the region that is building pens and fencing people products for them as we speak. I go to all the meetings, I listen to all the ministers' report. So that's just something that you'll not find anywhere else in the region. But having said that, more can be done. Spending $7.9 million just fencing and doing building materials for farmers, I think that is a huge, huge investment we are doing in the sector because we see the potential in livestock sector. Our aim is to reduce the importation of pork and poultry by 30% by the year 2030. Now we're importing around 25 million worth of pork and poultry every year. Imagine we can reduce it by half. That money is going to stay here. So that's the vision behind our investment in assisting farmers in building resilient pens.
Minister for Agriculture Roland Roye. Dominica has been nominated for the annual Condé Nast Traveler Reader's Choice Awards 2025. The award features a globally recognized reader-driven survey that invites travelers to vote for the best resorts, hotels, and destinations around the world. Dominica is listed in both the countries and islands categories, highlighting the island's emerging reputation as a top travel destination.
Dominica has once again been nominated for the prestigious Condé Nast Traveler Reader's Choice Awards 2025, recognized in both the countries and islands categories. This nomination highlights our island's growing status as a world-class travel destination. Voting is now open until June 30th, and every vote plays a crucial role in elevating Dominica on the global stage. To cast your vote, visit the Discover Dominica Facebook page for the official voting link and help us put Dominica on the spotlight where it belongs.
Communications and Public Relations Specialist at Discover Dominica Authority, Monel Alexis. That's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued. Like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
In news from the region, Trinidad's Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs has announced that the Dominican Republic and Trinidad and Tobago will sign an air services agreement which will facilitate air transportation connectivity soon. It comes as Trinidad's Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs welcomed the country's ambassador of the Dominican Republic in a meeting that discussed trade and investment. Diplomatic ties between both nations were established in May 1968. According to a statement from the ministry, discussions highlighted key trade dynamics, including major imports from the Dominican Republic. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump has warned that Russia's President Vladimir Putin has said he will have to respond to Ukraine's major drone attack on Russian air bases. Speaking after a phone call with the Russian president, Trump said, and I quote, "President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attacks on the airfields," end quote. Russian officials declined to confirm this, but Moscow had earlier said that military options were on the table for its response. Trump warned in a social media post that the phone call, which lasted more than an hour, would not lead to immediate peace between Russia and Ukraine. That's news, the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued. Like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
Welcome to the DBS Evening Sports Report. Dominica won their CONCACAF qualifying match against the British Virgin Islands this afternoon with a 3-0 win. Here is more from sports editor Gavin Richards.
Well, a resounding win for the men's national football team as they picked up their first points in their CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers campaign, getting a 3-0 win over the British Virgin Islands this afternoon at Windsor Park. Well, of course, we had Odell Laville getting Dominica onto the score sheet first in the first half. That goal coming just after the drinks break in the 25th minute. And then Troy Jules doubled the lead for Dominica. Dominica enjoyed a 2-0 lead headed into the halftime break. In the third, or I should say in the second half, well, it was all Team Dominica as they kept on piling the pressure, created a number of chances, and in the end, Odell Laville getting another goal again, his second of the match, as Dominica cruised to the 3-0 win, a clean sheet as well, and a fitting send-off for the national team captain, Glenson Prince, who was playing his last match on Dominican home soil. So there was an amazing ceremony post-match where Glenson Prince received various prizes and awards from the Dominica Football Association. And of course, let's now hear from Glenson Prince, the captain of the senior men's national football team. All right, Glenson, what a moment that was. What a fitting send-off for you as captain of the senior men's national football team. I was looking at you and you were really trying to hold back the tears. Just talk to me about this whole moment, man.
Yeah, all I can say is thank you, Gavin. I am so thankful and so appreciative of the national team, the DFA, Dominica on a whole, Dominicans on a whole, I should say. Today it was very emotional. Of course, we wanted a clean sheet and we wanted to win. And as the game progressed, I could see that, of course, you know, there were chances back and forth. And I just try to remain focused. I will admit though that I was a little nervous for the first time in like forever, knowing that it's the last game and I want to do so well. I want to keep a clean sheet. I want to help Dominica. But in the end, it turned out well. The guys played a fantastic game, phenomenal game, winning 3-0. I could not ask for a better send-off.
All right, Glenson, just your overall thoughts on the game, though, 3-0, like you said, and the way that we attacked. I mean, just your thoughts on that game.
Yeah, we controlled the pace of the game. That was the most important thing, controlling the pace. So we sped it up when we had to speed it up. We slowed it down, and you know, we used our strengths. We used our strengths, the speed that we had, the change of play. We did that exceptionally well today. We had some great combinations, but the most important thing, we dominated possession by keeping control of the game, and because we were able to do that, we got that victory, and I'm really happy for that.
All right, Glenson, you know, what can we take from this game with one more to go against the Dominican Republic?
Yeah, of course, it will build our confidence. We know mathematically we can't qualify for the World Cup, but we are putting our best foot forward. The guys played everything today, and I know they will do the same thing come the 10th of this month. And so I'm really confident that we can go out and take the game to the Dominican Republic, because it is a difficult game. You know, all due respect to BVI, they have players, Dominican Republic have players who play at a higher level, and so they will pose a different challenge for us. But it is important that we remain focused and we enjoy this moment, because after we have one more game for the year, which is against Dominican Republic, and so we have to savor this moment. I'm for sure savoring this, because I mean, what a way to go out on a win and a clean sheet.
All right, thank you very much, Glenson, and all the best with your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Gavin. I appreciate you, and thank you so much.
Our thanks to Gavin Richards for that report. In more sports this evening, Dominican Kavem Hodge is among nominees for the 8th Cricket West Indies CWI and the West Indies Players Association WIPA Awards Gala. Hodge has been nominated in the Test Player of the Year category. The CWI WIPA Awards Gala honors the outstanding performances in West Indies cricket over the past year. This year's gala will also serve as a tribute of one of the most defining moments in West Indies cricket history, the 50th anniversary of the 1975 ICC Cricket World Cup victory under the legendary leadership of Sir Clive Lloyd. For the Test Player of the Year category, Dominican Hodge is nominated along with Craig Brathwaite, Kavem Hodge, Sharma Joseph, Hazari Joseph, and Jaden Seals. The players nominated in the Men's ODI Player of the Year are Casey Carty, Shea Hope, Alzari Joseph, Kudakesh Moti, and Shafin Rutherford. The Men's T20 Player of the Year nominees are Akil Hossain, Alzari Joseph, Brandon King, Nicholas Puran, and Rovman Powell. Meanwhile, the nominees for the Women's T20 Player of the Year are Charmaine Campbell, Afi Fletcher, Chanel Henry, Haley Matthews, and Karishma Ramahak. And for the West Indies ODI Player of the Year, Afi Fletcher, Chanel Henry, Zeta James, Haley Matthews, and Stephanie Taylor are the nominees. The 8th CWI WIPA Awards Gala will be held on Sunday, June 22, 2025 in Barbados. A technical committee has been put in place to oversee the implementation of the Windsor Park Stadium lighting project. Prahab International Inc. of Canada has been contracted to upgrade the lighting at Windsor Park Sports Stadium at a cost of $13.8 million. Minister of State in the Ministry of Sports, Senator Oscar George, says an initial mobilization payment of $1 million has already been made to the contracting firm. The Ministry of Sports hosted a press conference at the Ministry of Finance conference room this morning to update on a number of sporting projects being undertaken.
As it relates to the restoration of the lighting at the Windsor Park Stadium, following unavoidable delays due to prolonged negotiations, government has finalized an agreement valued at $13.8 million to advance this very important national project. And I want to really thank the Honorable Prime Minister for his leadership in this process, and most importantly for seeing it fit to invest such large sums in sports at this time. This is very commendable, and I want to thank him for this. So this project will be funded for the National Lotteries Commission and will be executed by Faber International Inc., a reputable sports lighting company based in Canada. An initial mobilization payment of $1 million has already been paid to the contractor and will include payments for the procurement of anchor bolts, rebars, foundational works, and the commencement of shipping. This critical upgrade will be far superior to the previous lighting system that existed at the Windsor Park. It includes the installation of high-quality lighting systems consistent with ICC specifications, a modern control room, backup generators, and supporting facilities. A technical committee has been put in place to oversee the implementation of this important project, and regular updates will be provided to the media. This $13.8 million investment underscores government's commitment to maintaining Dominica's premier sporting venue, even amidst other national priorities. So in the coming weeks, we will start to see movement taking place at the Windsor Park. We expect the first set of containers to arrive mid-month, June, and we expect towards the end of the month in June that works on the foundation for the poles will commence.
Minister of State in the Ministry of Sports, Senator Oscar George. England women have sealed their one-day international series against